Gentle kisses brushed his skin, pulling Andrew from sleep. As his eyes fluttered open, he saw Megan beside him, smiling softly. "Good morning," she said cheerfully. "You were sleeping so deeply." With a yawn and stretch, Andrew wrapped his arms around her, drawing her close. Today would be a long one. He had to drop her at the train station before heading to work, and he had plans to meet his friends later. "When will you be back again?" he asked, watching as she zipped up her suitcase. 3 days, she replied while tucking in a few last-minute items. "There's an informal gathering today, and the conference officially kicks off tomorrow." Though the destination wasn't far, just the neighboring town. Her suitcase was packed tight with clothes and shoes. Andrew felt a tug of sadness in his chest. He had never liked farewells, and something about this one felt unusually heavy. "I'm going to miss you a lot," he whispered. Megan embraced him from behind, resting her face in the crook of his neck. The goodbye at the station was quick, a kiss, a wave, and then she was gone. Work came next, and the hours blurred by. Megan's texts and photos filled his phone. She showed him snapshots of the train ride, the scenery, a cute bistro where she had lunch with colleagues. By early evening, he knew every detail of her day. What street her hotel was on, what her room looked like, where the conference would be. Just as he was leaving to meet his friends, one last message pinged. "Just reached the hotel. I'm beat. Turning off my phone, crashing early." Andrew smiled and replied quickly. "Sweet dreams, love." Then he slipped the phone into his pocket and headed out. Outside the bar, Mike, Jay, and David were already waiting. "Hey man," Mike greeted, clapping him on the back. Inside, the group settled around a table, drinks in hand. "So how does it feel to be a free man tonight?" David joked with a grin. Laughter erupted, but Andrew only chuckled, shaking his head. Unlike his single friends, he couldn't fully enjoy the night. His thoughts were still with Megan. Mike leaned closer. "Dude, seriously, you're dragging the whole vibe down. We finally got together after months, and you look like someone kicked your puppy." "I can't help it," Andrew admitted with a sigh. "I miss her. Honestly, I wish I had just gone with her. I should have taken some time off." They groaned in unison. "You're hopeless," one of them muttered. 15 minutes later, Andrew still hadn't touched his drink. Then suddenly he stood up. "I'll catch you guys later," he said and hurried out. He hailed a cab back to his apartment, grabbed his car keys and hit the road. A 200-kilometer drive wasn't that long, not when love and longing tugged at his chest. The highway was mostly empty, streetlights casting fleeting shadows as he sped through the night. Eventually, the GPS led him to a sleek hotel downtown. He parked and entered, greeted at the front desk by a young woman named Veronica. "Evening, sir. How can I help you?" she asked warmly. "I'm here to surprise my wife," he said with a smile. "She's staying in room 278. Veronica typed quickly. Her smile faded. "I'm sorry, but there's no one by that name registered with us. Room 278 is vacant." Andrew's heart skipped. That can't be right. "Can you check again? Maybe under these names." He rattled off names of Megan's colleagues. Veronica checked. Nope. None of those either. Cold dread spread through him. He stumbled out of the lobby, leaning against the building's wall, trying to catch his breath. He called Megan. Straight to voicemail. Again. And again. Then he remembered something. Months ago, he'd installed a tracking app on her phone, a precaution in case it got lost. His hands trembled as he launched the app. A small blinking dot appeared, not near a hotel, but in the center of the city. At a nightclub. Andrew's stomach twisted. Without thinking, he drove there, tossed a few bills at the bouncer, and stepped into the club. Music pounded. Lights flashed. The air reeked of sweat, booze, and perfume. His eyes scanned the crowd, and then he saw her. Megan. She sat at the bar in a sparkling, form-fitting dress, one strap slipping from her shoulder. Her legs were parted slightly, just enough to make room for the man beside her, his hand resting on her thigh. His fingers moved in slow, casual circles. Andrew's heart thudded. Then Megan leaned in and kissed the man. Long, deep, like nothing else existed. Time froze. When she finally pulled back and looked around, her eyes locked with Andrew's. Her face fell. Shock, guilt, something unreadable. She stood up, adjusted her dress. Her lips quivered. Andrew didn't move. "Megan," he shouted, but the music drowned him out. She stepped forward, reaching out, but he backed away. "Why?" His voice cracked. She had no answer. He let go of her arm and turned away, pushing through the crowd. The music dulled into a distant thrum. Rain hammered his windshield as he drove home. For a moment, he considered calling his father, asking how he'd managed when Andrew's mother left. But he stopped himself. No need to reopen old wounds. By morning, he gathered every trace of her. All her belongings went into a box: clothes, shoes, books, gifts, memories. On the side, he scrawled one word: trash. As he stepped outside to leave the box out, he froze. Megan stood on the porch, suitcase in hand. Behind her, the same man from the club waited in his car. They stared at each other in silence. She clutched her purse, he held the box. Finally, he placed it at her feet. "Take your garbage and get out of my life." The box tipped, scattering its contents. A pair of lacy panties landed near her shoes. She bent down to collect everything, hands trembling. Andrew turned and walked back into the house, locking the door behind him. For the first time in days, he breathed freely. Megan moved in with the other man soon after. But he never proposed. Something inside her knew he wouldn't stay. At first, she told herself it would all settle down, that their passion would return, that she'd made the right choice. But the man she left everything for treated her like a chore, not a partner. Cold, demanding. And then came the aggression. It began subtly: tight grips, impatient shoves. Then bruises. Real bruises. She started wearing long sleeves, ducking away from friends. One night, after a savage beating, she woke up in a hospital. Her parents were there. They took her home. Days passed. Weeks. She barely spoke. All she could do was replay the moment she betrayed the only man who ever truly loved her, and realize she had destroyed something she'd never find again.